Hi, I am Josefina Ramirez, and I want to share with you my pathways for sustainable, happier lives in the past or recently finished inquiry we made with the group of Lifewide Learning. These pathways, as it says there, have been inviting, have been frustrating, have been results that have been resultless, have been mysterious, have been a long haul, very long haul trip, surprising as well, energizing, and again inviting. It has been a cycle that I'm hoping to repeat, probably with more results, but understanding now that this is a cycle in where results are a bit slower than what we can predict. To achieve these happier lives, we must be aware that this happier requires sustainability. So it's not just a happier without any context. It requires sustainability. Happier also requires work. It's not just for granted, or you can just be happy without doing anything that will be effortless. Work requires planning and it requires perseverance. And of course, the planning and the perseverance are easier when shared with others, which we have been doing in this inquiries the past years. My pathways have developed since a very early stage, but in different areas and in different contexts. My huge interest from humanity, human relationships, and also my love for nature have taken different shapes and different paths. In that sense, the education area with early years, including all the work with children, all the work with our students in early years, our student teachers that are learning different curricular alternatives, such as forest school principles, such as curricular courses where the incoming teachers are learning how to involve nature in education and have a more holistic and harmonious development for children. Also, the leadership in educational contexts, such as the education, the faculty of education, as well as being head of a preschool or the leader of a team of teachers, where we are mainly walking and working towards having a more sustainable and happier life. Also connecting myself with nature and how I've involved my family, or we have all developed a style of life regarding nature as a very central part of it. And joining finally broader groups that are like me, interested in the same areas from different parts of the world, such as Lifewide Learning. In that sense, my inquiries have had my development in these areas, my pathways have had recent unexpected results. After having developed, as I will show in the next slide, how I've worked towards this, I've recently found that my results were not being looked at the right place. This journey started 3 years ago with our first inquiries, this particular journey, in which I try to involve student teachers and early year in the early year teaching program, as well as colleagues in the Faculty of Education and families in the Early Years Center to develop certain aspects of the SDGs. First, recognizing one of or more of them and what we could do, what a kind of activity we could do to make a difference regarding that. That was the first year. Then I came into the idea of involving families directly in the Early Years Center through things that would be engaging and probably working with their children in one or more of the SDGs, to finally end up this year involving families into choosing one or two SDGs, in particular when it was Earth Day and Water Day, to make them in a more optimistic note find out that they were already doing something so that they will feel competent about it. Funny enough, in all these 3 years, results have been really small and in a smaller scale than what I would have expected. So in that sense, it was frustrating. It was resultless, as I said in the beginning. Despite that, recently I have learned that all this that I was looking at certain part had results in certain other areas, which I showed you with colleagues and my old student teachers. Recently, I was developing a podcast in which we were looking for the root of learning that different alumni from our program, our early year program, and also the faculty education in general, were developing in different areas. And as we are recording the podcast, I found out from one of the answers of one of my old students. She said that she had started and developed the forest school where she was because of one of our initial conversations regarding the SDGs and developing a wider and broader conscious regarding Earth. So in a moment that I was supposed to be closing my inquiry, thinking that my results were really small and it was only towards the idea of these colleagues that were working with how to deal with exams with students into developing the SDGs in a way that their own students would learn a bit more about balance and a more balanced life and um, use them as teachers with their own students. I found out that a couple of forest schools that are already being developed come from our first early development of these ideas. So what can I say about that? Basically, many times you will have to recognize that the effects are not only not immediate, but they may be not only indirect, but also unexpected and invisible sometimes. Then that the effects that you were expecting, I was expecting some little change regarding families working with some SDGs. I found out that with our work, our curricular work with students regarding SDGs, there were a couple of forest schools already taking place in Chile or being organized. So in that sense, the results are deeper than what I was expecting. And my colleagues, as I was saying, are already using this subject with their own students as a result of our conversations, our previous conversations 3 years ago. So one of my proposals after all this, or one of my challenges and my aspirations is to develop a podcast regarding life-wide learning for happier and healthier lives and sustainable lives, where we would discuss in 20 minutes certain things that we have been doing and make it an episode every month, every week, where we could discuss this and extend our influence and maybe be surprised by all of this. Finally, what can I say? Sometimes you plant something. You think you've put the right seed, you put all the work in a certain pot, in a certain very controlled area where you think things will develop and grow. And what is your surprise when you find out that where you thought things and the situation was perfect for being developed and grow, things don't develop and get dry, and you find that they grow in the most weird, unexpected, and probably not the proper or specific place where you thought that that seed would grow. That would be my presentation of my pathways into a happier and sustainable lives. Thank you.